This is going to be a quick look at some of the Georgia players that are on Philadelphia's defense. Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Keely Ringo. I'm not sure that you're actually going to see a play that Jalen Carter makes here. I just think it's pretty unique that 5 guys from Georgia that all played together at various times in the last 2 seasons for Georgia when they won consecutive national titles are all on the same defense to varying levels of degrees in terms of who's going to start, how much they're going to play. Nakobe Dean's going to be on the field a whole lot more than he was last year. Carter and Davis, we know, are going to be on the interior with all the other guys. The Eagles' D-line is ridiculous. Those guys are going to be part of that group. Nolan Smith, hopefully he's all healthy. I understand he got injured in the Browns game, but he made 2 really nice plays that I'll show you at least one of here. It's a unique group. I think they bring the culture there in Philadelphia is amazing. I'm a Ravens fan, but you have to admire what they've put together and what they've been able to accomplish. And defensively, they've just added to it last year, and the Georgia players are a big part of that. I think the culture there is already established and great, but I wonder openly if those guys are actually kind of contributing to it, adding to it, augmenting it. So let's get to some of the film. I think I'm going to show you 8 plays from the 18-18 tie in week 2 of the preseason. So Nolan Smith's going to be taking on the pulling guard on this first play, setting it back inside. It's like a one-back power play. Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean also on the field. Davis ends up falling on at the back of the play. I don't think he necessarily is the guy that makes the play, but he does get they're going to pull. It's a one-back power play, I call it. And the center's going to block back on Davis. Here's Nakobe Dean. He's going to come downhill. Eagles also have Zach Cunningham. Interesting. I always thought he was a really underrated player. Really quick and precise on his reads. I love how he comes downhill here. But in any case, the center's blocking back on Davis, and Davis is just a load. He's able to get some extension here, even though his hands is kind of on the outside. And then shed the center over the top. Kind of creates a cutback lane, but check Cunningham out coming downhill. Check him out coming downhill, and then you're going to see the combo by the right tackle try to work up to Cunningham, and Cunningham just kind of deftly evaded. This is what he's really good at doing, if you ask me. He's just slipping by people, not running around blocks. Someone else finishes off the play. Nakobe Dean nor Nolan Smith or Jordan Davis necessarily makes the tackle, but I wanted to show that one because they're all 3 on the field at the same time. I thought that was pretty cool. All right, this next one, Nolan Smith is going to be rushing against the left tackle up top here. And then Nakobe Dean is going to eventually make the tackle on mesh. It's completed to the side where the running back releases, which to me is like he's always open. So I'll diagram the play here in a moment, but you can see the range that Nakobe Dean has underneath. Running back's going to release. Some people call this mesh rail, I think. Running back's going to release to this side. You're going to get complementary drag routes from either side of the field. And actually, I think it's from the tight end. My bad. Tight end and the slot receiver from here, and the guy that's always open is the route coming from the opposite side of where the running back releases. So in this case, the running back is releasing to the offense's left, and this is the route that I contend is almost always open. It doesn't matter what coverage you play, really, for me. But you can see the cool nature of this play. I think Nakobe Dean plays it well. Maybe there's a half step there where you'd like to see him not hedge back to the middle of the field right here. I think he recognizes that it's mesh, and he's trying to do his part. Running back is clearing out this space by taking this linebacker with him, and that's the area that 18 runs onto. But really, look at the cool nature of the concept. Like, let's say Nakobe Dean does fly out of here fast enough to cover this route, and therefore the quarterback wouldn't throw it. He's got this developing behind him, which theoretically is being covered by the safety. It's a cool concept. I mean, look, there's some people who like to call mesh 20 times a game in real life because they think it's unstoppable, and in some cases it is. But you got Nolan Smith rushing against the left tackle. Doesn't look like a win here. It's a lot of guys put in conflict. Nakobe Dean makes a tackle on 3rd and 7. I think he had 3 tackles in this preseason game. All right, he gets called for an unfortunate penalty here, if you ask me. He leads with the shoulder, in my opinion. Makes contact with the quarterback. It's a violent play. Like, I don't know what people want to watch. If they don't want to watch violent play, like, what do you want to watch? The quarterback slides late, I think, in my opinion. Not blaming the quarterback for it. It looks violent. I think it looks more violent than the intention of Nakobe Dean. And I'm not sure how you can penalize someone when it wasn't their intention in the first place to complete a dirty play. Like, what's he got to do? Attempt to be passive? and allow the guy to score, it looks bad. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of reminded of when you see the next play in a moment. You'll know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of reminded of one of the many sayings that Rasheed Wallace put out there that was really cool. He said something like, "The line doesn't lie," or "ball doesn't lie." And what he was talking about was a foul called. It was a BS foul, and the guy goes to the line. The offensive player goes to the foul line and misses both free throws. This is the same play from the end zone angle. Looks even less egregious to me. I'm just not a fan of constantly penalizing defensive players who have to err on the side of caution when they're out there on a field with everybody else who's playing 100 miles an hour. Quarterback should have slid 2 yards sooner if he didn't want to get jacked up. That's the way I see it. Very next play, when I say ball don't lie, this is what I mean. Nakobe Dean right here. Still have Nolan Smith on the far side, but the play's made by Nakobe Dean. And I think it's Williams, 42, I believe, I think he's since been released, if I got the right guy. But in any case, it's a forced fumble by Nakobe Dean. Great play. Very next play. The scheme is there. This right tackle, they're gonna combo here up to the backside guy, and the right tackle is stepping to the D end or D tackle, whatever you want to call him. And then as Dean comes in on what looks like a blitz or just a read, he's going to come down, not fast enough. You can see Dean getting skinny, trying to dip his inside shoulder and not give that tackle enough surface area, not give him his chest, not give him any surface area. And you can see he gets his hands in there. And great job at really forgetting the previous play, forgetting the penalty he was called for, and just continuing to line up. I'll be honest with you, I never was the biggest fan of Rasheed Wallace, but that saying was one that I thought of immediately. After seeing these 2 plays back to back, like fate has a sense of irony sometimes, and Nakobe Dean called for a penalty that I don't really like. You may, and that's fine. But the very next play forces a fumble. I saw those 2 plays back to back. It just kind of tells me something about Nakobe Dean, which we already knew the kind of character that he had, some of the stories coming from Georgia, and then seeing him last year not really get an opportunity, and now he's worked his way up in that defense, hopefully, and he gets an opportunity for a lot of snaps. Same play. All 22 angle. You can see that the tackle has tried to get up to Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean successfully got up underneath of it and is able to force the fumble. Last play for these guys. Again, I said this was going to be a short film study. I'll try to do some more of them. I think it's so unique that they got so many guys from Georgia on this defense. You got Nolan Smith up here and then Keely Ringo at the top. Actually, we'll do 2 more plays here. My bad. Nolan Smith with tackle for loss on a reverse. His burst off the line is noticeable and disruptive. His ability to play through contact. I'll show you the end zone angle. You'll see it as well. But look at the angle that he's on. So he's getting essentially down blocked, pin blocked by someone who lined up outside of him. Nolan Smith just able to play through this contact, still get upfield without a rip, without anything. Just raw burst and ability. The other outside linebacker, 59, damn near takes the handoff on the slow developing reverse. And then Keely Ringo's up top, does a nice job coming in late, but his longtime teammate Nolan Smith had it under control. Let's look at the end zone angle. Nolan Smith here. You can see the leverage that's created. This guy has leverage on him to pin him down, but the burst, the explosiveness, you can see, and his ability to bend and surge forward despite having contact from the outside leverage position, and make contact with a second blocker, still burst through and finish the play. You can also see Ringo with really nice tempo with his feet. You can tell he's done those tempo drills in terms of holding your outside leverage, maintaining your outside leverage, no matter what. You can tell he's done those thousands of times. You can do those drills without contact, so that's why some of the better defenses in the NFL and college, they do them all the time. So these guys stay on the correct leverage side. Look at him on the outside. If Nolan Smith wasn't able to finish that tackle, then Ringo would have been. All right, this is the last play I'll show you. Keely Ringo is up top in coverage. Whoops. Keely Ringo is up top in coverage right here. It's man, and the wide receiver kind of hesitates. It's a pretty weak hold on the left tackle. Well, if that is what they call it on the left tackle. But I think Ringo did give up a pass down the right sideline where he didn't really kind of play the ball. He didn't really turn to play the ball at all. But this is an example of him, staying in man, seeing a break, getting into it. Receiver kind of checks up his route for whatever reason. Ringo is there. He thinks the penalty's called on him, but I thought he looked pretty good for most of the night, to be honest with you. As a Ravens fan, I thought he looked pretty good against the Browns for most of the game. I think these guys have it should be obvious that I believe they got a bright future, especially in Philly with the culture that they have there and how they play on defense and how they rotate guys in and use so many players. They just cut Greedy Williams. I don't know what that means for the cornerback, for the DB group in terms of is somebody moving up the ladder to play. Like I said earlier, I wonder about the culture that's there. Well, I know that the culture there is fantastic, but I wonder about the impact that the Georgia guys are having on it, how they're supplementing it, how maybe they're even leveling it up one or two levels. It seems like they hold each other accountable. Some of the things I've seen after the play in terms of them talking to each other. I'm looking forward to seeing Nakobe Dean get on the field. I'm not sure if you are, if you're an Eagles fan and you watched this far. First of all, appreciate you checking out the channel. But Davis, Carter, and Smith are going to play a lot, and I'm not going to discount Keely Ringo. You never know how things work out and who ends up being on the field midseason or late in the NFL because of injuries. Appreciate you guys' time. Let me know if you were, as impressed with these guys, these young guys getting in the game. Three of them rookies. Well, Jalen Carter, I didn't show you any film on, but he's a rookie as well. Three of them rookies. And if you, enjoy the video and you think other Eagles fans might appreciate and enjoy this content, please consider grabbing a link to it, sharing it somewhere on social media to help this video get more reach.